10-minute session was to tell you a bit more about the extraordinary story of a small Finnish company who has evolved from a gaming company to today a global phenomenon that's behind the Angry Birds brand. So, if it works, great. So most of you probably know Angry Birds as the game. Actually, Angry Birds Classic, the first game that was launched in December 2009, will be celebrating 5 years only this year. And we have launched over 10 games so far. Most of these games were already brand partnerships. So Angry Birds Star Wars is obviously a partnership with Disney. Angry Birds Rio, a partnership with the studio, the movie studio 20th Century Fox. And Angry Birds Space is a partnership with the NASA in the US. And the idea of this partnership was to teach kids about the physics in space, obviously to also be entertainment. And so all of these 10 games have now reached, I think now the new number is probably 2.5 billion downloads, which still makes us one of the biggest app that ever existed to date. And so hundreds of millions of people are, still to date interacting with the Angry Birds brand, playing the Angry Birds game on a monthly basis across the world. But what's interesting is that one of the first questions I always get asked is Angry Birds a kids brand? And the answer is always, no, it's not. It's actually, a game for everyone. So as you can see here from the demographics, it pretty much represents all age groups. We obviously have launched our cartoons, which was a very, very big step from a gaming to a brand about 18 months ago. And we looked at companies like Disney, we looked at companies like Hello Kitty, and they've still been around for decades. And one of the key reasons is animation, because animation enables you to flesh out the personalities of your characters and to create stories. So we wanted to tell that story. Why are the birds so angry? Why have the pigs still stolen the eggs? So we've started creating cartoons, and this have amounted to nearly 3 billion views to date. But we did something a little bit disruptive. Instead of distributing cartoons via broadcasting deals on TV, we looked at our mobile and tablet audience and decided to distribute it through the Angry Birds apps. So today, if you open any Angry Birds app, you'll have access to the game and access to the Toons TV, which distributes the Angry Birds cartoons, but also distributes content from other animation studios, such as Aardman in England, who is famous for Wallace and Gromit, or Shaun the Sheep, National Geographic, which has been a long-standing partner. So, lots of different animations. So that was the first step, I would say, from becoming a brand and no longer just a game. The second very big one was merchandising. So it's actually pretty new in Europe, but in Asia and the US, it's been around for about 2-3 years. It represents today over 50% of the Rovio company revenue. And we have over 500 licensing partners, from Angry Birds toys to Angry Birds bed sheets to electronic cases to plushes like you can see here, or short-term licensing partnerships as well with companies such as Nestle for the cereals. And another very important step, even further away from the game, was education. So it was very much at the heart of the founders of the company, being Finnish, being a Nordics brand. Education was very important. So it all started out of a tweet from the NASA saying, well, we've been trying to interest kids into science, but we have a bit of a problem. They think it's boring. So we could partner with you and do two things: create an Angry Birds game that teach kids how the physics of space works. So if you've ever played Angry Birds Space, you'll see it's probably the most difficult one. And the second one was to actually create in the Kennedy Space Center an Angry Birds land, showing kids in real life how to, about the science of space, basically. So this was a small venture, but it became very big. So we have over 100 books to date with, different publishing houses, such as Penguin, National Geographic, as you can see here. And we've launched a few Angry Birds land across the world. We have about, I think, 7 or 8 to date across Europe. We're launching a few more in China, Russia, and Malaysia in the coming months. So, Rovio has really evolved from, a small gaming company to an entertainment company in the space of less than 5 years, which is quite incredible, from 10 people to today something like 700 people in different locations across the globe. But I wanted to share with you what's coming up. So obviously, as a brand, it's very difficult to continue. If we look at Disney and Hello Kitty, we can also look at a lot of other brands who've tried over the past 50 years and have failed. So it's always going to be a challenge for Angry Birds. But we have a few very exciting launches, so I'll just share with you 2 videos. The first one is a very exciting launch coming in a couple weeks with another massive IP that all of you will know, so I won't need to say much. And the second one is interesting. It's a completely new game, non-Angry Birds, very retro, and I would say surfing on the trend of Flappy Bird, for those of you who've heard of who Flappy Bird is. So I'll just start the video. So that was the first one. So I think some of you have heard of Transformers. So after Star Wars, when we asked our engineers what is the next IP they wanted to mix with, we had Star Trek, or Transformers was the next one. But the next video is a bit different. You'll see. It almost makes me think of Pac-Man. So as you can see, very different from the first one, but I think the biggest step towards becoming a brand that's going to be around for 100 years is going to be the Angry Birds movie. So we, once again, have decided to do something on our own. We haven't reached out to a global movie studio, so we've decided to fund it ourselves. But last week we revealed the celebrity voice cast, so you can see it in the press, which is pretty impressive. And all I know is that the birds and pigs will talk. They will have arms, legs, and feathers, and they most likely will keep fighting. But this is, coming out in a bit less than 2 years. And so I just wanted to finish this session by showing you, how we've been working with brands. Obviously, becoming a brand, we've had a lot of help from other brands to become that brand. And so I'll share with you, 2 last videos. The first one is a brand partnership with YouTube, and one of the YouTube stars, called Rosanna Pancino, who became famous because she was baking Angry Birds cupcakes and got 5 million hits on YouTube just by doing this. And the second one is a partnership of what could look like a very hard-coded integration into one of our games, and how we're trying to reinvent how brands should be interacting with gaming brands moving forward.
Giving away 1,800 plus cupcakes, and we're doing a big fan meet and greet with Rovio in celebration of Stella. She's so cute. She's the newest Angry Bird, and she's pink and a girl and adorable. The Angry Bird cupcakes are one of my favorites because I love that app game. I'm always playing it on my phone. My favorite part of the whole experience has been meeting all of my viewers and fans. Every week I encourage my fans to send me their ideas, and so I get a lot of ideas from them. It's so different to meet them in person. It's just so heartwarming and it's just so memorable. It's my favorite thing.
And the last video I'll share with you is very short. It's just to show you what a game integration could look like. So that was it for today. So as you can see from all the videos, to become a global brand, you need help from your fans, you need help from other brands, and so we're going to keep going. As I said, we'll be celebrating 5 years on the 11th of December, our birthday. So we hope to be there for another, at least 95 years. Thanks very much.